What's going on, guys? We are now live. I wanted to start off this Q&A a little bit differently than I normally start off, and that is actually by asking you guys a question, get some of your feedback. If you guys want to answer, put it in the chat, the comments, whatever. If you want to, I would appreciate it. And I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you like about these Q&As, or what would you want to see different from these Q&As in terms of like the topics, how long they are, what days they are, because I've tried different styles with these Q&As. I've tried doing a shorter one during the week, and then stick into the longer one at the end of the week where I answer questions from the week, the more topical one. But it seems that doing these Friday ones with like the mixed topical and taking questions from the week is like the best format. But I'd be glad to hear you guys' feedback if you guys have any. Again, leave them in the chat or the comments. But to get into this Q&A, I'm going to talk about the importance of core strength for vertical jumping. And I was actually between two different topics for this Q&A. One of them was the topic of fasting, because I've done a fast before, a 24-hour fast, and there's a lot of different benefits to fasting, but I think I'm going to hold that one off for a different Q&A. But yeah, this one's just going to be about the importance for vertical jumping, what some of the studies have found in terms of the correlation between core strength and vertical jump, if there has been any. And then also I'm going to answer questions from the week. One of them was, why would someone do single leg exercise if they're a 2-foot jumper? And a lot of that has to do with actually stability and some, I guess, core training. Some core training is involved with that as well. So, but to get into this topic, I'm just going to start off with actually a quote from one of the studies that actually quoted another study on what the core actually consists of and what it's responsible for. So the core is basically includes the muscles of the trunk region, which I actually taken an anatomy class this semester, and it was really cool. We got to see the proper terms of donor, but basically just a corpse, and you can see like the muscles and tendons and the fascia on the corpse or the donor. And it was just really cool to see this all and actually see, the trunk region and all the muscles and everything just right there in front of you. It was kind of, I mean, not gross, but it was just interesting, just like staring at it. But yeah, so the trunk region is basically consists of the neck, thorax, and pelvis, but it's mainly the abdominal, or like the central region of your body. You can't really see, I'm pointing to it, but like, the core region, center of the body, and it's responsible for maintaining spinal and pelvic stability. So basically, in any movement, anytime you were to make a movement, such as vertical jumping or any other movement for that matter, the spine has to be stabilized, and that is one of the main responsibilities of the core, is to stabilize the spine before any other movement takes place. So it's basically like a protective mechanism for our body before we go into any type of dynamic movement, is to protect our spine. So that's a major responsibility of the core. So, and with that being said, it's also critical for the transfer of energy throughout the body from the ground to the extremities, so arms and legs, so absorbing that force from the ground and then displaying that out into the outer extremities during any type of sporting activity, or again, activities such as vertical jumping. So basically, with this first study I looked at, the idea based off of that is that if someone were to have a weak core, they would in turn leak energy that they absorb from the ground before they would perform any type of movement such as a vertical jump. So I wrote down here. So the idea is that if someone has a weak core, or core that's relatively weak compared to the lower or upper body. So basically, if you have muscles that are more developed or stronger than the core itself, then your body's going to compensate and only allow you to perform the movement that the core or other weak part of your body can handle. Otherwise, the result is either going to be injury, or the movement just won't take place. So, and also the other result is going to be a decreased force production and inefficient movement. However, the relationship between actual core stability itself and athletic performance has somewhat inconsistent results, and that's what this study actually looked into. And they tested core strength using a double leg lowering test, which is basically just laying down and controlling your legs as they go down in front of you. And this had a high level of trunk stabilization, so it took a high level of trunk stabilization to perform this movement. So that's why they used it as the parameter for testing core strength before actually actually testing 3 different movements, which one of them was the 40-yard dash, this another one was the vertical jump, and then the third one was the medicine ball throw. Then the results that they found from the different tests that they did was that the only statistically significant correlation, the only statistically significant correlation was found between the medicine ball throw and the core strength based off of the double leg lowering test. So however, the vertical jump came in second, but the only one that was statistically significant was the medicine ball throw. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, because before reading what the results were, I thought for sure that the vertical jump would have some kind of correlation or be significant in the testing. So it was just interesting to me to see that actually wasn't significant in terms of comparing vertical jump to actual core stability and core strength. So that kind of got me thinking. I looked into more studies, and then I found another one, which is a review article that I looked at a bunch of different studies that tested core strength versus different types of movements. And what they found is that because they're, and this made sense to me when I read it too, and it kind of helped me make sense of why just looking at core stability and testing core stability might not be enough to correlate an increase in some type of athletic performance like vertical jumping. And that's because there's so many different aspects and so many different variables that go into a movement like vertical jumping that it'd be difficult to just pinpoint out core training or core stability and say that just by doing exercises that would be pinpointed at that would actually have a direct effect on benefiting someone in improving their vertical jump or athletic performance. So that's why that's kind of what the review article is getting at, is that there's too many things that go into a movement altogether that trying to test core stability by itself to increasing athletic performance is just too broad, and there's too many variables to test there. And I'm just going to quote what the review article actually stated. They said that investigations or studies that targeted the core as the primary goal for improved outcome of training had mixed results. So basically, again, I just kind of thought about that as, there's so many movements, and from reading the review again, there's so many movements, there's so many different aspects that go into something like a vertical jump or other athletic movements that it's hard to just pinpoint core as, where it would be hard to pinpoint that just strengthening the core itself would carry over into increased athletic performance. But that's not to say that strengthening the core and having a strong core and developing your core and movements together won't have a benefit. It's just that to actually quantify any type of results from strengthening the core itself to athletic performance is difficult, because there's so many different things that go into like a movement like the vertical jump itself. So is that Wit? Do you try to maintain body weight or get bigger or lighter, or what? Wit. So I try to, right now I'm maintaining body weight. Before I came to school, I was like 162, 163. So I've been trying to maintain that. I haven't weighed myself since I got to school 2 weeks ago, but just trying to maintain that weight, because I don't feel too light at this weight, but then I also don't feel like I have any extra weight on me. So I don't want to lose any more weight. So I'd rather stay at this weight and just keep gaining strength and speed at this weight, because this is the weight I feel pretty good at. Not to say that there's a weight that might be better, but right now it's just maintaining this weight and getting stronger with this weight. But yeah, so that's basically a rundown of what I found about the importance of core strength for vertical jump. And the reason the thing that got me interested in this is what I was looking into. Actually, if you guys have heard of PJF Performance, he's done a vertical jump training program, and in the beginning phase of his program, it's based around like developing your core, and he talks about how he talked about the stabilization of the spine and leaking energy and all that if your core isn't strong enough. But I wanted to look into the studies myself and kind of read more into it and see what like scientific evidence there is on core training specifically to improved athletic performance. And I'm not saying that he said that there was or anything. I just wanted to look more into it for myself to learn more about it. So it just seems like, again, it's a good. I feel like it's a good starting point. And it's definitely something that has to be built in order to perform movements later on, in order to get stronger and start to add more weight to your exercises and I mean jump higher later on. But yeah, it's just a good place to start and build from there. So that's what I want to that's what I want to talk about with the importance of core strength. But now I'm going to answer that question about these single leg exercises. So maybe bring it up here for a second. Tony Huynh on YouTube. He said, I realize you train two-legged and one-legged. Is there a specific reason one would transfer to the other, or is it more for a balanced approach? I'm a two-legged jumper, and this got me thinking. So yeah, so basically, I like to do a lot of one-legged stuff along with two-leg stuff because I feel like with one leg it's easier to pinpoint your weaknesses and also work on stability a lot more when you're working with one leg. And for me, I've noticed that my right leg is definitely weaker compared to my left leg. So if I could do single-legged stuff to just strengthen that specifically, then it helps a lot more to do single-leg exercises. So that's why I like to do one-leg stuff, so I could really pinpoint my weaknesses and just work on those. Miran, what's up? Jeffrey, what's up? Jeffrey said another Q&A, yay. Yeah, so if you guys are just joining the Q&A, if you guys have seen this before or even have not, if you guys have any suggestions for anything you want to see different in these Q&As, or what you like about these Q&As or not like about these Q&As, just let me know in the chat or in the comments. I'd be glad to hear your guys' feedback, because I'm always wanting to improve these and find ways to make these more engaging and better. So Jamin, can I send videos of me dunking and you give me some pointers? Yeah, definitely, Jamin. By the way, is it Jamin or is it Jamin? Like, is it Jamin like dunking, or is it Jamin like your name? Yeah, you can send them to my email if you want, or Instagram. Also, if you guys have seen my latest, oh, it's wait, so Jamin, your name, or is it Jamin? So dunking. Just trying to clarify this right now. Yeah, so if you guys have seen the latest dunk sessions I've done, I'm actually I'm doing the dunk sessions and stuff back in my school, in my school gym now. But I'm gonna do the first dunk experiment that I've done the first dunk experiment I've done in a few months since I've been at school, and it was actually recommended to me by Basketball Johnny. I think he's a subscriber on my channel, but he left a comment on doing a workout, taking 2 rest days, and then doing a dunk session. And I haven't done that before. Well, I mean, I might have done that before, but I haven't actually tracked it as like an experiment. So yesterday I worked out. I did a contrast workout with well, you guys will see the clips from the workout, but I did a box squat and then a depth, or not a medicine ball throw, but just like jumping up with a medicine ball and doing like a full extension. And then I did a depth jump and then assisted band jumps. Jeffrey, he asked, is it okay to have cheat days? Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not bad to have cheat days or eat bad things in moderation. I mean, I would say, as long as you're like 80 to 90% eating well, eating in your caloric range, bad. But like Whit said at the beginning, like Whit asked me at the beginning, are you trying to maintain? I feel like it's good to maintain weight if you are trying to maintain a weight. And be conscious of that, because if you're also wanting to gain strength at the same time, it's gonna it's going to be harder if you're putting on weight while gaining strength, because that gap is getting wider between how strong you are and how much you weigh. So if you can maintain a weight and get stronger, then it's going to help you have more carryover into your hands for jumping, rather than if you're putting on weight, then you're going to have to kind of broaden that spectrum of getting stronger. So yeah, I would say just roughly try to either maintain, or if you're putting on weight, then continue getting stronger either way, but just keep track somehow. Jeff Bustamante asked me how old I am. I'm 21 years old. So I'm just looking through more questions that I got from this week. Let's see. Yeah, so Indiana Pacer 77 on Instagram, he's been asking me about like stretching routines and how you know, if he feels like he has like knee pain, or like what's the best type of stretching to do. Let me see. Yes, like what's the best type of stretching to do? And honestly, I don't do too much, just like too much static stretching. A lot of the stretching I do is either dynamic, or it's with like a peanut or like a foam roller. A peanut's like the two lacrosse balls taped together. Just gets deeper than like a normal foam roller. But yeah, so a lot of it's like either deep tissue work like that, or it's dynamic stretching, because I see. Yeah, so I feel like, because I just feel like dynamic stretching and the deep tissue work has is more beneficial in the, I guess this would be something to research, but I guess it seems like it's more beneficial, and I get better results from actually doing those two things for vertical jumping compared to doing like just like a slow, deep, static stretch. Not that it doesn't feel good, but I don't, for some reason I always feel like when I do those two things, and I have done a Q&A, I've talked about this a little bit, that like static, if you're too flexible, then that could be bad for or that could hinder your vertical jumping. But with the dynamic and the deep tissue work, I always feel like I'm more mobile, can actually like helps me jump better by doing those rather than static stretching. Jeffrey said, do you recommend protein powders? I mean, I'm not gonna say like you should take them or shouldn't take them, but if you do take them, I would just take them as like a supplement, so not as like not replacing food for them, because you know food has a lot of other nutrients that like just a protein powder wouldn't. But if you feel like you're low in protein or you're not getting enough protein, then taking protein powder definitely can help. Jam, I sent a video to your email. Could you let me know if I need to work on anything? Yeah, I'll check that out. By the way, if you guys ever have any like videos or questions or anything like more in depth and you want to email me, I'll put my email right here, actually. Yeah, I've had a few people email me about like workouts and sending videos and stuff to look at their technique and stuff. So if you guys have any questions, you can just send me the stuff to that email, or you guys can always leave a comment or message me on Instagram. I'll look at all of them. I'm gonna go through really quick and see if I had other questions. Tyler, I haven't opened this one yet, but he asked me, hey, when you do these dunk videos, do you start the week by doing a good workout, 2 days rest, then an attempt? And I actually don't. So the reason that I put this on my Instagram story. So basically that's just going to be for this experiment that I do like a workout day, 2 rest days, and then a dunk session. But otherwise, when I actually do a dunk session, it'll just be when I feel like most optimal to do a dunk session on that day, or when I feel like I've had like adequate rest and have a good dunk session. I don't like to go into a dunk session just like purely off of like schedule. Like I only dunk Tuesdays and Fridays or something like that. I just kind of go off of how my body's feeling and base it off of that rather than just, again, like set a certain schedule. So yeah, so I don't always just do like a workout, 2 days rest, and then dunk. It'll be more of just basing it off of all those other aspects that I said, or all those other variables. Oh, I've had another question from Jake Cahill. He said, I've been trying to implement it. Actually, let me see here. Oh, he said he's seen a lot of guys kick upwards and whoa. He said he has seen a lot of guys kick their legs up towards them when they jump. Does this help? So basically, I think he's talking about, well, I mean, answered him, but what he was talking about is like when people perform a vertical jump, like their legs kind of curl in and their knees come up. I think that's basically just for hamstring activation and getting like an extra push like in the air from your hamstrings when you actually jump in the air. I mean, I have to look into it to see like more of like biologically what's going on, but in terms of like what I feel when I jump is that I feel like I get more like leg power and hamstring activation when I do that. Jeffrey said, which protein powder do you take? Well, right now I'll show you which one I have. Right now I have stickers on here. Whatever, I'll show you. So this one was actually, I just took it off, but this was $5. It's Kashi Goline Dark Cocoa Power. It has 180 calories and 2 scoops, 7 grams of fat, 13 carbs, 9 fiber, and 21 protein. It's not the best tasting protein. It kind of tastes like plants a lot. Has pea protein, ground flax seeds, organic cocoa, chia seeds, dried spinach, hemp powder, other bean proteins, beet powder, yeah, all that stuff. So yeah, not the best tasting, but in terms of like the nutrients in it, it's probably one of the better ones I've seen. Which college do I go to? I go to Indiana University. And it's going to be really interesting because I feel like I'm going to talk about a lot more of the stuff I'm learning this semester on these Q&As because, again, like the anatomy class is really interesting, just seeing that donor in the body in the lab. Like actually getting to see like the muscles and the whole body just right there with, just right there. And like all the fascia and everything is just cool to see everything right in front of me. So it's going to be interesting. And we also, in like the first 2 days of class, we talked about like the different planes of motion that you can move in and all that stuff. So it'll be cool to talk more. And physics. I'm also in physics, which, that's all basically, that's like velocity, force, speed, all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Dunks for Christ, say what's up. I started this one a little earlier, but I just had everything in my head, and I just wanted to start. I wanted to just start it. So sorry if any of you guys missed like the talk about the importance of core strength. I can give a quick summary if anybody's just joining and wants to hear what the like what I looked into with core strength and importance of it for vertical jumping. I can give like a quick summary if any of you guys want to hear it. But yeah, right now I've just been answering questions from my Instagram and YouTube comments from the week. Martin asked, before you started to work your vertical, what was your reach? What was your reach at the rim? Well, Martin, are you saying like what part of the rim can I touch? Because if that's what you're asking, like before I started to train my vertical specifically, I mean that's kind of hard to answer because I mean I worked out and trained, for basketball and stuff, so I wasn't able to dunk during that time, but I was like close to touching rim, maybe like half net, a little bit above that. So I mean, I wasn't far off from like touching rim during like basketball and stuff. But I mean, if you're saying like before I started anything, then I was like I was probably only able to touch like half net, if not lower. And Dunks for Christ said, "Yeah, could you summarize?" Yeah, I'll give you a quick summary of what I talked about. So basically, the core consists of like just basically the central region of your body, but basically the abdomen area. And what it's mainly responsible for is spinal stability. So basically, before you do any type of movement, like one of the first things that has to happen is that your spine becomes stabilized. It's just like a protective mechanism that our body has adapted to so that we don't injure ourselves. So basically, before you do any type of movement like a vertical jump, your spine has to be stabilized, and that's one of the responsibilities of your core. So the idea from that then is that if somebody has a weak core, then they might leak energy. They might leak energy after absorbing force from the ground and before they perform something like a vertical jump. So if the movement might not happen, or they will injure themselves, or they'll just have decreased force production and an inefficient movement. Between like actual core stability or core strength and athletic performance is how do they say, it's inconsistent. So in one of the, well, I guess in the first study I looked at, they did like a double leg lowering test, which is basically just controlling your legs going down from laying on the floor, controlling your legs going down. They used that as like the parameter to test against three different movements: a 40-yard dash, vertical jump, and then a medicine ball throw. And I thought before looking at this that the vertical jump was going to be like the most significant one for like core activation, or correlation between core stability, strength, and the exercise. But it ended up being the medicine ball toss was the only of the three exercises that actually had statistically significant results against the parameter of the double leg lowering test, which was the test to actually test core strength and stability. So yeah, that was interesting. So then after reading that, I just kind of wanted to look more into it, and I found a review article that kind of gave a little summary about like why that might be, why those results might be that way, is because there's just so many different aspects of movement and so many different parts of the body that are activated before performing a movement like a vertical jump that it's hard to just pinpoint one aspect of that, like core strength, and say that's going to dictate athletic performance, or that's going to dictate improved athletic performance just by strengthening that one thing. And basically they stated that investigations that targeted the core as a primary goal for improved outcome of training had mixed results. So based off of that, it's not to say that core training and strengthening your core is not good for building a foundation. It's just that pinpointing that by itself and saying that it will help increase athletic performance isn't necessary. There's not necessarily a strong correlation there. Hey, what's up, Peter? Martin said, no, it's okay. Just because I'm 16 and about 5'8" and I can touch like half the net, or like that. Yeah, Martin. So that's probably about the same place I was at your age. So definitely don't think you can't dunk. Cac Vogel said single leg exercises, lunges, reverse lunges, Bulgarian squat, and pistol squats. Squats. Which do I like best? Probably of all those, I like the Bulgarian split squats and the pistol squats probably the most, because I feel like those require more like stability and core. So probably those two. But best probably pistol squats. I feel like you can't single out each leg more than by doing pistol squats. Peter. He said Peter said he dunked on 9'8". Hey, that's awesome, Peter. I feel like you just started dunking like not too long ago, and you already dunked on 9'8". That's awesome. Congratulations. NDJ Pro, hey. Oh, it's Nico. Wait, like Nico Christie? Nico? That Nico? Guys, Nico. Nico. Martin, thanks. I keep working. Keep working, Martin. You guys, shout out to Nico in the chat right now. I'm sure anybody in this live stream right now has seen Nico dunk. He's crazy. He is putting in work this summer. It's going to be scary to see how he dunks. Or this season is going to be crazy to see how he dunks next summer. Can't imagine it. Dunks for Christ, said Nico. You're hella bouncy. Nico is definitely hella bouncy. It's beyond it. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you guys have seen Nico, I mean, dunk on, you know, in like videos and stuff, like it's crazy seeing him dunk there. But when I actually met him in person and saw him dunk in person, like, it's even crazier. Like, it just looks so easy, but you know, it's not that easy. Nico said, appreciate it, dude. You're catching up to me. Fast love what you're doing. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining the live stream too. And you're welcome. I don't know if I'm catching up to you fast, but I got a lot more work to put in. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. As you can see, this is my college dorm room right now, guys. So if you guys want to see, there's just literally a bed over there and a window and a fan there, and then the rest of my room. James said, do a dunk session with your subs. I'll definitely do that. I've thought about that. I mean, probably like before I even had that many subscribers on YouTube, I always thought about like doing a dunk session with subscribers. I think that'd be really cool. Peter said, tell Steven I said he better do a BTL soon. All right, I'll tell him, Peter. I'll tell you what he says. Dunks for Christ. Dunk session with subs would be lit. Yeah, just be kind of. I mean, I feel like I have to grow a lot more or get a lot more subscribers because right now it's that I'm not. I mean, I'm close to 1,000 right now, but I feel like it's really spread out, so it'd be hard to dunk with like a lot of my subscribers. So, but yeah, I would definitely do it. Jamin said, "When bro, I'm from Missouri, I'd have to catch a flight." Yeah, I mean, right. So I mean, Missouri's not that far. I mean, it's probably like 5-6 hours because I'm in like southern Indiana. So Nico said, sorry for joining late. Have you gone over your strength training history? You're unbelievably strong in a sneaky way too. Nico, oh no, it's all good. I haven't gone over my strength training history. Well, I mean, I've gone over it in like past Q&As, but I can go over it right now real quick, just like a quick summary. So basically I started lifting. I got my first gym membership when I was like 12 or 13, but before that I was doing like stuff at home, just like ab workouts and body workouts, nothing like crazy. But yeah, started going to the gym at like 12 or 13, just didn't have any clue what I was doing in the gym. Just would like go there, do like every machine that there was in there. Like literally I would just go in there, go up and down the rows, do the machines, and like that was it. Didn't know what I was doing. But it wasn't until like the summer before my freshman year of high school that I actually started lifting like super strict and just focused on strictly getting stronger for basketball season that following year, like going to high school. So that's when I really started to gain strength, was that eighth grade to freshman year, that gap in between. So yeah, there was that point. And then when I got to high school, I love the weight room. I love just lifting and getting stronger. So I just fell in love with weightlifting there. And that's when I started to just lift a lot more and put probably most of my strength gains on at that point was during basketball season and that time in high school. And then after I quit basketball my junior year of high school, I got to college. My junior year of high school, I lifted for 1 year after that, just like bodybuilding type of workouts. But then, you know, I still wanted to dunk and I hadn't dunked yet. So my freshman year of college, I did a jump program called Flight Right did that for 7 months, and that's how I got my first dunk, was off that program, or was doing that program. And then from there I just built my own, like, kind of like tailored my workouts more like my weaknesses and strengths and stuff I felt like I had to work on more. And that's just kind of what's built, what this is all has kind of built up to be, is from doing that jump program. So that's basically a rundown of my strength training history. Peter said, "Come to Ireland." I actually have a cousin, Peter, that has lived in Ireland for like an extended period of time, like a couple of years. So she's like back and forth between here and Ireland. So if she's ever there, wait, what part of Ireland are you in, Peter? Because I'll have to find out what part she goes to, and like maybe somehow you're close. I don't know how big geographically Ireland is, but Martin said Spain is a bit farther than Missouri. Martin, yeah, Spain is definitely a little bit farther away. Dunks for Christ, Canada's where it's at, man. See, I mean, look at this. It's already like so spread out. It'd be hard. But yeah, I would definitely do a dunk session with subscribers one day. I feel like that'd be really fun. Dunks for Christ said Sherman Sue, Kilgannon, and Thane Van Dyke. Yeah, those are all crazy. They're all crazy. I love watching Thane dunk too. He dunks like he's mad at the rim every time. Like I wouldn't be surprised if in one of his videos the rim just shatters. Nico said, "I love it." What's your strength training history, Nico? Like when did you actually start training specifically for jumping or just lifting? Like, did you start jumping first? Like, did you start off just like just jumping and dunking, or did you start off strength training? Peter said Galloway. Yeah, I'll have to find out where she stayed at, but she works with like international and like travel at her college. Like she works in that department from out of Florida, so I'll have to see when or if she's going back there anytime soon. So Peter, are you watching this fight then, or is anybody watching this fight tomorrow? Nico said, "I honestly only lifted legs for the first time when I was 19 for 4 months. I spent last spring getting back into it, getting my hang power clean to 265. Now that I'm injured, I'm trying to get a 500 deadlift." Yeah, that's crazy. So you only lifted for the first time when you were 19? He said he spent last spring getting back into it, getting my hang clean power back to 265. That's nuts for a hang clean too. Hang clean is like one of the hardest things for me to move up in weight, and was the hardest thing because I never learned like the technique for it. But I just know I know like you could get a lot of explosive gains from working with hang clean. So that's insane. Now I see like where your jumping and explosiveness comes from. And how are you injured? Like, you guys, Nico said he was injured a little while ago. I'm not saying that you weren't injured, but it's just like you just came off of injury and then hit a windmill like it was nothing. But he said Nico said he's jumping every day since I was 11, made most of my strength gains. See, that's crazy how you can have it flipped. I mean, like, just with you started off jumping more and working, with like the technique probably and all that stuff. But I mean, with me, I never really focused on jumping. It was just more, I mean, I just had to really just focus on getting stronger and faster and more coordinated, because when I first started, I was like the slowest kid, most uncoordinated kid on my AAU team. So back then it was just all like, that's all my focus was, just getting stronger. Kevin said, does your knee giving out any issues, or is there any way to recover faster once you experience pain in your knees? Well, Kevin, I haven't had like much experience with like knee pain or anything, but when I do have like the occasional like knee soreness, it'll a lot of times be when like I have like when my hamstrings are unusually tight or my quads are unusually tight, either from like working out or jumping too much or something like that. So again, like going back to the like doing deep tissue work or dynamic stretches, I feel like can help with that, or even strengthening, maybe strengthening muscles around the knee that you might not have developed, like maybe your outer glute or outer hip regions or something like that. So just look into all that stuff if you have knee issues. It could be a lot of things, but any one of those things can help. Peter said your Osgood-Schlatter's is slowly going. I mean, Peter, maybe that's because you're gaining more muscle and it's kind of helping support. Nico said, didn't even use my left calf on my windmill. That's insane. So basically you did that with one leg, is what you're telling me. Peter said you should upload more. Oh, Peter said, Nico, you should upload more. You're really good. Yeah, Peter, yeah, Nico's really good. That'd be cool. I'd love to see more videos on YouTube. Yusuf said, give me a shout out and tell people to sub me, please. I mean, I don't know. What's your channel about, Yusuf? You got to tell us more than just sub. Nico said, you have so much untapped potential. Have you experimented with more sprinting? Your strength to weight ratio is already sky high. I appreciate that, Nico. I have, the most I've experimented with sprinting is I've done some like banded type of like acceleration thing. So basically I took a resistance band, wrapped it around a pole, and then I would just like accelerate to as far as the band would stretch. I mean, I've done that. I've done like reactive sprints where I'll start on my knees, and then I was like looking at like a ticker, like it was on this free motion machine, and there was like a little thing that moved on the screen. So once that moved is when I would like get up and sprint. So I've done those two things. I've done sled sprints. I think that's pretty much it for sprinting. Yeah, do you recommend any other like any other sprint drills or anything that helped you or anything? Yeah, Peter. Nico definitely does upload a ton on Instagram, so check him out there. Temper, do I lift? Yes, I lift a lot. At least, I mean, at the very least, it's probably going to be more like 3 days now, because I'm going to be dunking more since I'm at school and kind of not overlifted, but I lifted a lot over the summer, so trained a lot. But yeah, yes, I do lift. Peter said, yeah, I follow you, but it would be sick if you make videos like Steven, because you have serious bounce. Dunks for Christ. Everyone should make vids like Steven's. He is the GOAT. Yeah, Steven does definitely make crazy YouTube videos. Like he was probably the first, not probably, he was the first person I watched first dunker I watched on YouTube when I first made my channel and started looking up like dunkers and stuff. So yeah, he definitely makes crazy videos. Can I take my shirt off? Now I'll leave that for maybe an outdoor dunk session or something. Not going to do that right now. Nico said, that's good to hear. Sprints are incredibly underrated. I'd say 60 to 100 meter sprints are transformational to people's rate of force development. Yeah, I mean, I haven't like focused a lot on sprints specifically, but I mean, I would definitely do more of them if you say that, you know, you've seen a lot of benefits from doing them. Basically, like the extent that I would do sprints is maybe like it'd be like one aspect of my workouts, maybe like 2 sets or something. Like it wouldn't be a big part of it. So um, maybe now that I'm back at school and I'm like dunking more, and I guess this is going to be more of like a speed phase. Then maybe I should incorporate more sprints or different variations of sprints. Peter said, I lift every day except for Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah, I mean, lifting, I mean, my take on like when to lift or when not to lift is just like listen to your body. Like don't overtrain, don't do too much volume, focus on just getting quality over quantity. So if you feel like you're going to put more effort into, if you can put more effort in by taking an extra day of rest, then I would do that. I mean, that's just how I do it. That's kind of how I go. That's how I kind of like schedule like my lifting days or dunk days, is just listening to my body. Temporarily dead. Do I have a six pack? Yes. Kevin, earlier you mentioned that to strengthen the muscle around the knee to prevent injuries, do we exercise like knee extension? I wouldn't say necessarily knee extensions, but more focused on like your hip and glute region, or your like your psoas region. Working and strengthening those areas, I feel like, or I mean, other areas that you might have neglected that you might not work on. So again, like I was saying, like maybe your outer glute or outer hip region, um, or if you have like overly tight hamstrings or overly tight quads, then I mean, evaluating all those things can be helpful. Peter said, but Mike is a goat also because he is smaller and more motivational. I appreciate that, man. I mean, I appreciate you saying that. I don't like to gloat in that, but thank you. Dr. Christ said, Peter, definitely. I appreciate the love, guys. Thank you. Kevin, can you give me some example deadlift? A good choice. No, so like when I'm if you have, so Kevin, if you've ever seen um like any of my workout videos on YouTube, I'll normally start off with like a dynamic warm up, and like not one, probably like three of the things I do are like hip and outer hip and glute specific. So one of the things I do is like sidewalks with the resistance band around my ankles, and that'll hit that the outer glute area or outer hip area. Then you have fire hydrants and fire hydrants with like a leg extension. Those two can be really helpful. If you've never done those can be actually really challenging. I mean, they're challenging for me to do like 2 sets of 8. So I mean, I feel like that's something I need to strengthen too, is like the outer hip and glute region. So yeah, just trying to like look up fire hydrants or like fire hydrant with leg extension exercise. This is a really good like hip opening exercise. Peter said, I've been sub to Mike since he had like 90, 100 subs. Yeah, you and Dunks for Christ have been in these Q&As probably since probably the first Q&A you guys have been on here. Dunks for Christ, I've been with him since his first Dunk Experience videos. You guys are the OGs of the channel. Temporarily dead. So can you show us your abs? No, like I said, I'll upload a video one day of doing an outdoor dunk session. You'll see. Peter said he said wait till outdoor dunk sesh. Yeah. Juan said, dang, I just got here now. Juan, let me know if you want to hear an overview of anything. Peter said, yeah, grinding to try and get a dunk. Or Dunks for Christ said, Peter, yeah, grinding to try and get a dunk. Juan said, what did you say regarding the one leg stuff? Just overall, I'm curious. Oh, so the one leg stuff, Juan, was just a question that I got from, it was Tony. I spelled his last name because I didn't want to pronounce it wrong. But let me see, Tony, Huynh. He said, his question was just, I've realized that you train two-legged and one-legged. Is there a specific reason one would transfer to the other, or is it more for a balanced approach? I'm a two-legged jumper, and this got me thinking. Yeah, so basically, I just answered him, and I said that I like to do one-legged stuff when I like to really pinpoint my weak and work on my weaknesses, because my single leg is probably one of my biggest weaknesses, particularly my right leg. So anytime I want to train, like train aspects of like one leg or the other, that's when I'll do single leg exercises. But it's usually I'll work them in as like a supplemental workout or a supplemental exercise, or I'll do like other little exercises in between, like a contrast workout, or I'll incorporate them in with a contrast workout to develop those weak points. Juan said, oh, like single leg exercises. Yeah, so single leg exercises, some of them are like pistol squats, lunges, Bulgarian squats. I've done these things called deer lunges, which is actually from the flight right workout I did, which is just like, it's like a lunge, but like a plyometric type of lunge. And then just single leg jumping, working on that too. Dr. Christ, Mike, your 1 foot is like better than mine, and I'm a 1 foot jumper. I mean, Dr. Christ, that's why, I mean, I talked about it on here before, but it's just like I feel like when you become a better jumper, like over time, like as you keep progressing with jumping, whether it's 2 foot or 1 foot, like just jumping in general, like you're going to be able to jump any way. And just, it's just going to depend on, like, you're going to be able to jump however would be best for you to jump given the situation. So, I mean, if you look at like, I mean, it's hard to compare to NBA players, but like look at a lot of NBA players, it's like, you know, if they're on a fast break, they might be better off, you know, jumping off of one leg. But, you know, if they get tossed an alley-oop or something, maybe they'll go off of 2 legs more often. So again, it's just like given the situation, you'll be able to just perform as you get better with jumping overall, and you get stronger and faster. Because that's what I've noticed with my 1 foot jump. Like my 1 foot jump was always a lot worse than my 2 foot jump, but as I've improved, like my body overall and like my 2 leg jump technique, my 1 leg has also improved. So that might be why you're saying like it looks better. But Juan said, gotcha, thanks. Anytime, Juan. Peter said, thanks, Christ, I turned on notifications and I upload 2 vids a day. Dr. Christ, yeah, makes sense. Juan, in your opinion, does it seem like 1 footers or 2 footers are better at transitioning between the 2 different styles? Again, that's hard to say, Juan, because, okay, in your opinion, does it seem like 1 footers or 2 footers are better at transitioning between the 2 different styles? Yeah, I feel like that's hard to say because it would depend on. I'm not going to say it like that. I feel like that's hard to say because, again, it depends like what jumper you're, like how advanced the jumper is. So if it's somebody that is like an NBA player, then it's not going to matter like what type of jumper they are first started off as. Like they're gonna, like it's gonna look like they could perform either one like really well. So with that, it wouldn't matter. But like if you're talking about like somebody who's just starting, or somebody who is naturally 2 foot jumping more compared to somebody who starts off just 1 foot jumping more, then I would say maybe, I mean, it's hard because it's different. So like with 2-foot jumpers, I feel like they rely more on on strength and power compared to, whereas like a 1-foot jumper, they might be a lot faster. So it's just two different styles. I don't think that one is better. I mean, yeah, because I feel like to get better at one, so say you're a 2-foot jumper and you rely more on strength and power, then to get better at 1-foot jumping, you're going to have to get faster. But if you're a 1-foot jumper, you're already going to be faster, but you're going to have to get stronger to be a better 2-foot jumper. So I feel like it's there's two different sides. I don't feel like it's easy to like put them together like that in terms of saying like which one is better at transitioning. And I can only speak from a natural 2-foot jumper's perspective, because that's the only way. That's how I've started jumping. So, Thanks for Christ said, Juan, I think transitioning is hard for everyone because it's like natural the way you jump. Yeah. So like, yeah. So basically, if you start off jumping one way, it's going to be hard. It's going to seem harder to transition to the other way, whether you start 2-foot or 1-foot. Because you're going to have to develop something you haven't developed yet just to move to the other side or get better at the other way of jumping. Juan said, because I'm a 1-foot jumper and my vertical off of 2 is like 34 inches lower than my vert off 1. So I was just wondering. Oh, I was like 34 inches, 3 to 4 inches lower than my vert off 1. So I was just wondering. Yeah, so maybe that just means that you have more strength and power compared to speed or velocity. So I mean, like Nico was saying earlier in this chat, like that's where I feel like the sprints can be really beneficial if you're trying to get faster and increase the rate of force development, which that just got me thinking even more of why I should incorporate like sprinting variations. Thank you again, Nico, if you're still in the live stream for that, for recommending that. So Peter, since you're in Ireland, like, do you know anything? I mean, do you know anything about like the fight tomorrow? I mean, it's what I've seen on YouTube a lot lately is stuff about the fight with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Is it big like where you are, Peter? Yeah, I think I've answered like all the questions and stuff from Instagram and YouTube comments from this week. So basically, if you guys have any other questions, just put them in the chat. Guys, we have another dunk goat in the chat right now. Shout out to Peter Olson. Answered that question for JP Ver, I think. Yeah, I'm just like overwhelmed. Like Nico and Peter in the same chat, in the same live stream. Martin said, "Go with Mayweather, trust me." Why do you say that, Martin? Cac Vogel said, "What do you think of single leg depth jumps? I haven't tried." What do you think of single leg depth jumps? I haven't tried them yet because I'm afraid it will hurt my knees. When you say single leg depth jumps, do you mean like dropping off the box and then jumping straight back up off of one leg? Or do you mean like stepping off with one and then going up with two? Dunks Christ said, "Too many dunkers in one chat is ridiculous." This is crazy. I don't think I've never had this many people in the chat, especially Peter and Nico. How about Peter came in here casual? You're just like, yeah, for sure. Peter, do you go through like a dunk or like a speed phase or strength phase, or do you mainly just stick to dunking and jumping? Cackvogel said, off the box, land on woodling and explode up. Cack, I don't think I've ever done depth jumps off the box like that. I've always done depth jumps, just stepping off with one and then exploding up with two. But I guess that's like a variation of it that you could try, or I mean, I'll try. I haven't done it though. It's just always like the way I've always like looked at a depth jump is that I want to just I want to just get as high as I can. So I naturally jump my highest when I'm going off of 2 feet. So that's why I always step off with one and then explode up as high as I can off of two. Peter said, I always focused on speed over strength training since I played ball in high school. So I played ball in high school, and that's the sort of stuff we did. Then I did high jump and learned those principles, and I applied it all to 2-foot jumping somehow, and it worked. Yeah, it's crazy. I said, Peter, I mean, before I met you in Florida, I looked, it was like when I first followed you on Instagram, I think. I saw a post that you made about high jumping specifically, um, and you were saying that your coach or somebody like like taught you like these different techniques and stuff, so you applied them to 2-foot jumping, and that's when I first started to look into high jumping exercises. Was actually after I read that post, and then I saw I watched this video on this guy in the Olympics. I forgot his name, but he just made like a video just on like on different like skipping drills and all that stuff. So did you work with drills like that and carry it over into dunking, or did you mainly just do those type of drills and workouts when you were in high jump? Dunkster Christ said, Peter, where's the vids? Cacvo said, okay, then there's a good reason for that, I guess. Yeah, I haven't. Like I said, I'll try the the 1 foot. I'll look into it, but yeah, most of the time I'll do, or all the time I've always done 2 foot. Andy, have I had a cramp before? I haven't had a cramp when jumping before, ever. I mean, not actually not a cramp that I can recall from like sports or anything. So no, I haven't. Peter said, I've been out of town. I wish I could be posting more. Tried filming yesterday and today, but it's been raining and my court is outside. Damn. Yeah, I love seeing like, I mean, all the dunkers videos, but I mean, you guys just crazy seeing you guys dunk, and it's motivational. Andy said, do you wish there was a clone of yourself? Hint, the clone of you could be doing the live stream and the real you could be exercising. It's a very interesting question, Andy. I never thought of that, but no. I kind of like to separate those two things and but still be the same person, I guess. It's a very interesting question. Peter said, that's awesome. It's super helpful. I don't specifically do any high jumping exercise anymore, like what you're referring to. More so, it's just molded my approach. But if I were to really train, I'd definitely incorporate it. Yeah, I mean those exercises, like I said, after looking at your post, like those exercises, I feel like really helped. And I mean, it's kind of what I do for some of my warm ups is like the skipping drills and stuff. But um, I know you've referred to like if you're trying to learn how to do like a 360 and stuff, that your high jumping technique or your from high jumping, it's helped you naturally do that. Like I've always wanted to ask you, like, how can you like talk about like why that is? Like how is it just natural that when you go to do a 360 that you use like your technique from high jump to like automatically help you spin? Like does it have to do with the curve, like the curve you take? Because I know with high jumping it's like a J curve. Is that right? So is that what helps them like naturally spin, or like? So I guess my question is, all that mumbling. I guess my question is just, in your approach, what actually helps you naturally spin into a 360? Because that's probably going to be like when I start to learn more. Dunks with Nick, what's up? Dunks with Nick, what are the best exercises for jumping, or what are the best programs? So the best exercises for jumping, it's kind of hard to just pinpoint like one. It depends on your experience and how much you've trained with jumping and strength and all that. So I would say like depth jumps for plyometrics would probably be one of the best ones. And then like if you're working more strength, then um, probably box squatting or like Olympic style lifts like are good for power. So I mean, yeah, it just depends. Like there's really no best exercise. Those are just some of them. And then the best programs, I've only done one program, and that was called Flight Right. That was the program I did for 7 months before I got my first dunk. So that program was definitely really helpful in building like a foundation for me. But I can't really speak on other programs because that's the only one I've done. But I've looked into a couple. Like I've just recently looked into PJF Performance. Like he's made a jump program. I know there's like Vert Shock. I've heard some stuff about that program. Like I know there's like the Jump Bible and like Bounce Kit. I know that's another one. So yeah, there's a lot out there. But again, I haven't really looked too much into other programs specifically. Peter said, so a high jump approach involves turning your body as you jump towards the bar. Yes, a J curve, and that's how I approach the basket. I start on the left wing and turn into the lane. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm pretty sure, you're a left-right jumper though, right? So if I'm a right-left jumper, would I just take the same curve but on the other side? Or would that be more of like a reverse 360 then? Hello, what's up? It has been a long time no see. Shout out to Hillel, another OG subscriber in the live stream. Oh, Peter said, which is why I naturally spin a little bit when I jump. So when I try and do a 360, I just emphasize the motion a bit more, and it's pretty natural. Like if I were to try and do a reverse spin, it'd be insanely difficult because it'd go against the natural motion. Okay, so basically you let your momentum like take you into the spin after you jump. But since like you're already on that curve, it just makes it just like flows into the spin, I guess. Like is that what you're getting at? Because that makes sense. I mean, Dunks for Christ said, Mike, you should try dunking over someone like your girlfriend or something. I think you have enough bounce to do it. Yeah, that'd be something I'll work up to. I've jumped over her, so I guess the next step would be jumping over or dunking over her. So yeah, something I'll think about and work on. Dunks with Nick, what do your workouts look like? Well, over the summer I just did a lot of like the gym by my house. I'm lucky enough to go to. It has a lot of different, like it has TRX bands, tires, like the ropes, this vibration machine for like stretching, and then a bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, while I was there, I was doing a lot of like a lot of training with that type of stuff, but specific type of training or workouts I've been doing lately is they're called like contrast workouts, which is basically you do like a strength exercise, and then you'll also incorporate like a speed exercise, a plyometric exercise, and then an assisted plyometric exercise. So in the next video I'm going to upload, which is going to be the next experiment video, it's going to be the contrast workout I just did yesterday, which is it involved so I did a box squat first, and then I took a 10-pound medicine ball and jumped straight up like as if I was going to like try and dunk with the medicine ball, and just did that like repetitively like 4 times. And then I did a depth jump and then an assisted banded like squat jump. But basically I'll do that for 3. So I'll do like a warm up before that, like 20-minute warm up of like hip opening. So like a 20-minute warm up of like hip opening stuff, dynamic stuff. Then I'll do like 3 rounds of the contrast training, no more than like 4 reps with each thing. So for 3 rounds of that, and then that'll be it. Peter said, sorry I left. I was watching the McGregor weigh-in. Did he make it? I heard Floyd said that he was having trouble. Peter said exactly, right, left from the other side. Okay, that makes sense. I think I'll probably try that in the next dunk session I do in a couple of days. I'll just work on that curve and just try to jump and see if it, like, see how natural it feels. Thanks for that advice, though, Peter. Thanks for Christ said, Peter, I swear you rarely right left though. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen. Peter, I don't think I've ever seen you dunk right left. Hillel said, great, how are you? You got a lot better lately. Said, great, how are you? That's good. I mean, I appreciate that. But I mean, I've just been working more on like being more consistent with like doing dunk sessions since I got back at school. Like I've dunked probably 3 times since I got back at school already. Well, I did 2. I did like the warm up dunk session and then the second dunk session. I'm gonna do another one in the next couple of days. But yeah, just gonna be more consistent with dunking since I'm back at school and like have the gym now and everything. So it's gonna be more of like a speed phase, like a dunk phase, jump phase, I guess. But I'm still gonna incorporate like the contrast training with it. So I just won't have the access to that gym that I had back home. So I might just be putting more emphasis on dunking and stuff now. And Peter said I can't right left at all. Have you ever actually dunked right left, Peter? I mean, I feel like there's no way you can't dunk right left. Like you get so high left right that even if your right left was like half of your left right, I feel like you could still dunk. Peter said, and yes, the momentum carries you. Peter said I'm a left-right jumper and I'm right-handed, but I find it easier to dunk with my left. Yeah, Peter, I feel like I've rarely seen that technique, and like I said, when I tried that technique, it felt really off. Peter said, Mike, I'm 100% sure you could double up like jumping. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I appreciate you saying that, but like I feel like I feel like there's a big mental block there, like trying to do a double up. So I mean, I would just practice jumping over someone like my girlfriend just like a bunch of times just to be comfortable with like jumping over her, and then I'll start attempting double ups on a lower rim, I guess. Dunks Christ said, Peter, I know, right? Man, you guys believe I got to do it now. Peter said, yo, what's up, Peter? My name is also Peter, and I love your videos. Other Peter said, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Peter, you've never dunked right left? He said, I've tried, and the double up is all mental. I was the same way, 100%. You could do it, though. I think that's crazy that you haven't dunked that. I mean, it's just crazy maybe you haven't dunked right left. But I mean, I guess you have crazy bounce left right. So I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter trying right left or getting right left. Yeah, double up definitely seems like it would be that way. Because I mean, just when I've tried jumping over my girlfriend, like just literally ran up to her, stopped, went back like 5 times before I even went in the air, and it wasn't that hard after. So just got to practice it. I mean, windmilling seemed kind of off at first because just hitting my elbow, like not hitting my elbow, but when the ball like hit in front of the rim, it would just come back in my elbow. Or I mean, just missing the ball completely and not landing right. I don't know. I feel like dunking itself is just so much mental. Dunks for Christ and Mike, everyone believes in you, bro. I appreciate that. Dunks for Christ. I believe it'll happen someday. Peter, you can dunk off one. Juan said, Peter, you can dunk off one though, right? And Peter said, Nico has East Bay with both plants, which is insane. Yeah, I heard him say that in the podcast he did with Steven. I thought that was crazy that he's East Bay with both plants. And he was like when he was in this chat earlier in the live stream, and he said that when he hit the most recent windmill, he did it. He said he felt like his left calf or right calf, like it didn't even like activate, or he didn't even use it. So I was like, you basically just dunked, not even using one of your legs when you were expecting to. Juan said, and yeah, Mike, you can definitely do it. Thank you, Juan. Pierre said on 10, I can rim graze off one with, if I'm warm, maybe. That's great. So have you just always been like, I'm sure have you just always like practiced left right then? Obviously. Like have you ever tried like working with right left, or you just always stick to left right? Peter asked Peter, what do you think the best leg exercises for 2-foot jumpers? Peter said, honestly, I don't know. I've always focused on stuff like jumping and sprints. Never been a big lifter. That's probably a question for Mike. Yeah, I'm left right because I was left foot jumper and high jump. So since you did the high jump, like, did you ever, like when you started to dunk, did you ever think about starting off like just doing like jumping one leg, or like what made you, or did you just naturally go into 2-leg jumping? Because in high jump you jump off one leg, right? Yeah, like you said, left foot. Peter said, I'm about to take off. Keep killing it, Mike. Can't wait to dunk together again. Won't get injured this time. Thanks, man. I can't wait to dunk again too. I'm hoping to come down to Florida again, like during the school year sometime, just for like a weekend or something. So if I'm there, I'll let you know. But yeah, definitely don't get injured. Gotta dunk more. And he said I switched to 2 because I got a stress fracture in my left leg. Oh, okay. So that just like helped make dunking easier, I guess. Peter said I have to go, Mike. I'm trying not to stay up late again tonight. All right, see you later, Peter, and other Peter. I'm probably gonna end the live stream soon. Yeah, like I said, I answered the questions from the week on Instagram and YouTube. But if you guys have any other questions, I'll probably stay on here for like a couple more minutes. Peter said, "Now I'll stay up till it's over." No, you can go. You could go, Peter. I'm probably gonna end the live stream here. So, Peter, are you going for Connor tomorrow? I'm guessing. You said you were watching his weigh-in. Dunks for Christ said, "Yeah, see you, Mike. I'm about to go jump now." All right, have a good jump or dunk session or whatever you're doing. Dunks for Christ. Go kill it. Quality over quantity. Peter said, "Hell yeah, Connor is a beast." Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. Hopefully. Who am I going for? I don't know. I'm not really going for anyone. I just hope it's a good fight. That's what I want to see. I mean, I'm not really like big into like watching combat sports like that, but I just if I were to pick us, like if I were to say like which sport are like more like to which one's more entertaining to me, I would say at like MMA, UFC, like what Connor's in. So maybe leaning more that way because that's I don't know more entertaining to me. I guess like his style, but and like the way he moves is just it's crazy. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the live stream here. Thank everyone. Thank you everyone who joined the live stream for watching and putting your questions and talking in the chat. That's what like I said at the beginning. If you guys didn't, if you guys weren't here, I was just asking like what suggestions would you guys have and feedback would you guys have for me because I want to make these more engaging. So I mean, it was really cool that or really ironic that this one was like the most engaging live stream I've ever had. So that's really cool. I mean, shout out to Nico and Peter for joining the chat and talking. That's really cool. They've never been in one, so that was awesome. And thank everyone else for who also joined the live stream for watching. Yeah, and I'll also put a summary of this on my Instagram if you guys haven't. If you guys haven't seen the summaries there, that's where I usually post like the summary of like the topic I go over in these live streams. I'll post them there. So if you guys want to check that out, it'll be on my Instagram. And Peter said, imagine if McGregor gets knocked out in the first 10 seconds after all the talking he did. Yeah, that's one thing about McGregor is that he talks a lot, and Mayweather doesn't really. Just seems like he's just gonna he just holds it like a business. So yeah, it'll be good. All right, thanks, Peter. You too. All right, see you guys later.